Welcome back, SethBling here, and today I'm on the Super Minecraft Maker to share some redstone tips with you. These are going to be some redstone pieces that I had in my Moonbase Alpha level that I showed off yesterday, and it's really nothing too complicated, but I wanted to share it anyway because I thought it was probably stuff that not everybody was really fully aware of. So first I want to show these jump pads. These were little pads. They have a button on the top here. It's a wooden button, so that you can trigger it with your bow and arrow. And the idea was you had to shoot the bow in order to, and like hit the top of the button in order to trigger it and get bounced up by the slime block. And you had jump boost, but like, let's say I'm falling and I press the button on my way down. Oh, that actually worked. Well, it doesn't usually work. Yeah, usually what happens is like that. So it kind of forced you to use your bow to, and it's not very easy, especially without hitting yourself. But there we go. Use your bow to get up this. And one of the things I really liked about it was that it didn't have any showing redstone. You could see the slime block, of course, but none of the redstone was showing. And the way that works is actually a little bit complicated. So you can see, well, I don't know why I broke those because this is a glass, but you can see that there's a piston in here, and that when I right click, the piston gets triggered. But you'll notice that this block is not actually next to this block. And in fact, if I remove this redstone line here and I press this button, nothing happens. If I put the redstone line back here, nothing happens. And this redstone line is also not connected in any way to this piston. It's just kind of floating in midair. I mean, it's diagonally adjacent, but it's not connected. But it's what makes this whole circuit work. And of course, the piston just pushes a redstone block down here that triggers this piston, and that one's pretty straightforward. But this is an instance of something called piston quasi-connectivity. It's the mechanism that a lot of block update detectors use. And what we've built here is actually kind of a block update detector, and it's detecting the updates from this redstone line. So the basic idea is that when you push this button, this block, the redstone lamp here, is actually powering the piston, but since it's not touching the piston, when this block becomes powered, the piston just doesn't check if it should extend. It needs a block update in order to tell it, hey, you should check if you have redstone power, and if you do, then, you know, extend your piston arm. And so that's what this redstone line here provides, is block updates. Redstone dust actually has a reach of 2 blocks. In fact, I could also put it right here, and it would also work. Even though, again, it's still not touching that piston, but it's causing redstone updates to happen within 2 blocks of every piece of redstone dust here. And so it causes this piston to constantly, because this clock is going so fast, to constantly check, should I be powered, am I powered, should I extend? And so that's how this works. And it's pretty neat because it lets you hide blocks. In fact, you can also do, let's see, I could, like, if I wanted to, I could put the block up here, and I could even have a block just floating in midair, right? And have maybe like a floor like this, and if I push the button, same thing. This is also another instance of piston quasi-connectivity, where a block 2 blocks above a piston will also power that piston. So it's a useful mechanic, and it's usually used for block update detectors, but it's got some other applications, and this is how you can take advantage of it. Alright, moving on, I had this really fast clock in a space fighter in Moonbase Alpha. And here's how it worked. This is actually the way that we used to build clocks, fast clocks that is, before redstone repeaters were in the game. And it sounded atrocious. Yeah, obviously you can hear it. It's really annoying, the sound. But it used to be the fastest way to build a clock, as in... it used to be the fastest clock that you could build before redstone repeaters. In fact, it is the same speed, exact same speed as this clock, but it doesn't use any repeaters at all. And it's a little bit interesting how it works. Well, I'm going to turn it off so that it's not quite so annoying. If you've probably noticed this mechanism before if you've played with redstone at all. It's called torch burnout. It's where if a torch turns on and off too quickly, then it will burn itself out. And this is actually behaving pretty similarly to what's going on over here. If you give a redstone torch a block update and it's been burned out, it'll turn back on. It'll unburn out. And, you know, eventually if you have this set up, it'll burn itself out again. And that's what's going to happen. What's going on with this is that you have 3 torches that are constantly burning out, but also providing block updates to the other torches that are already burned out and causing them to unburn themselves. So if you have 3 torches like this, it's enough that there's always one torch flickering and letting the other torches cool down. Now there's, like I just said, I guess, there is a kind of a cooldown, right? If you do a block update immediately after the torch burns out, it's not going to turn back on. And so that's why it's important to have 3 and not just 2. If you do it with 2, they will actually both burn out, as we see here. It'll take a little bit longer than just a single torch, but it will eventually happen. Pretty sure. Well, I'll leave it as an exercise to the viewer. Maybe it does work with just 2. But anyway, I used 3 in my video because I know for sure that it's a lot more reliable. But this does seem to be going on for forever. So, yeah, alright. Well, maybe that works too. Anyway, it's a very good way to create a very compact... Well, it's not really any more compact than this, but to create a compactable clock. And you can do it like on the underside of a ship, like I did, which is also nice. And you can also have, so I had this here, and I had kind of like a piston push a block, so that so there's like a redstone line coming off. No, it was like, oh, there was like a repeater. That's right, in the starship coming off here. And so then when the piston pushed this block over the torch, that's what actually allowed it to connect to the clock. So yeah, that's what's going on with that one, and I'm going to turn this off and never turn it on again because it's really annoying. So then over here I have a little door. I think people see redstone doors and they get really flustered. They think they see all these examples of redstone doors and just like get really they think it has to be this really complicated thing, but it doesn't. And I just wanted to show an example of a door that I put in Moonbase Alpha that is not complicated at all, and you can see all the redstone right here. It's just 2 pistons, and then a single line of redstone running across the top. And it's a 2x2 door. It works just fine. It's not flush with the wall or anything, but it works. I used it for the airlock in the actual Moonbase in that level. It works from both sides. You'll notice I've chose to use wooden buttons, and if you didn't know, wooden buttons actually last longer than stone buttons. It's about, I don't know, 50% longer. Which means you're not going to get suffocated by the blocks as you like come in here, and if these were solid, you know, sandstone or whatever, I would get suffocated. But yeah, it's a really simple door. I just wanted to show you guys because maybe you are thinking about getting into redstone and you think, oh my god, it looks so complicated. But you can do some really simple stuff. You just have a button turning off a torch, and the torch powers the pistons, and when you push the button, it depowers the pistons, they retract. It's very simple. I think anyone can understand this. Anyway, that's all I've got for you in this episode. As I show you more levels and have more fancy redstone contraptions, I will show you those as well. But Super Minecraft Maker is a pretty interesting place for redstone contraptions because you're really constrained on space. You only have these 7-block wide lanes, so you really have to make every block count. And so, but you also want to make things look pretty, and so you want to maybe hide redstone. So there's a lot of interesting constraints to Super Minecraft Maker, and I am really having a lot of fun exploring those. If you don't know what Super Minecraft Maker is, check the video description for a link to the announcement video that I made about that. There's also the server IP in the video description. That's about it. Thanks for watching.